Can you see me all right?
Yep.
There's a fly coming around here driving me nuts.
It started already.
Oh, okay. Okay, students, do you think if we turn on that light that would help, or is that too much? You want to try turning that on and see? Does that give me enough light? Are we clear? Okay.
Yeah, you got plenty of that.
Got plenty of light? Okay, good. Okay, students, you know, every year, this is 2020, and this is the first year, every year with my students, cosmetology students. And cosmetology, it's a very creative trade. I mean, you're creating all the time. You're designing all the time. And that knowledge tends to grow into other areas. One of the things that I've done with my students every year, just to break it away, just to have a fun day towards the end of the semester during this time of the year, during December, is I've taught my students how to make gingerbread houses. And we would just have fun with it, something to break away from the school part of it, but yet still being creative. So my students this year, because of the pandemic, all of their believe it or not, I mean, cosmetology, where you have to get in and cut, and you know, it's all physical motion pretty much to do what you do. And we've had to do stuff online. I've done 1 million videos. I forget, my husband told me how many, but we've done a whole bunch of videos on showing all the details, and very detailed. It's not like a regular, this is a school type video. It's not just going in and clipper cutting. It's not just picking up and cutting. There's a lot of whys you do this. And it's education. That's all it is. So this is one thing that my students are missing out on, is how to do the gingerbread houses. And we're not going to get to have our little Christmas party and none of that. And to teach them how to do this, I'm doing this video. So this is A to Z Cosmetology Christmas Tree. All right, we're going to call it that, A to Z Cosmetology Christmas Tree. So these are the things you're going to need, and this is it. I did go to a store yesterday, as a matter of fact, and there was a little gingerbread house there. You've seen those gingerbread houses. They were like $8.88, $9. You figure you pay a little over $9 for that you still have to either make the frosting or buy the frosting. You still have to get all the decorations, all the little intricacies that you see all around, and and then you're going to tear it up and eat it, which there's nothing wrong with that, I guess, if you want to spend the money on that. But I figure, why not go into that and start from the ground up and do your own on everything. So what you're going to need, and I found these at, I've got to say, I believe I found these at Target. They're a little less expensive. I did find some different ones at the dollar store, but it only had 2 squares of the cookies, of the crackers, I guess, or cookies, because they're graham crackers. And where this one has 3, and so I got one more for the same price. It was 98 cents, and it was on sale too. So I think normally they run about $1.50. So all right, there's $1.50. The frosting, and this is 16 ounces. Now you can get I believe 10 or 12 ounce one at the dollar store. 16 ounces at the grocery store for $1.50. So there's $2.50, and I got this at the dollar store. So $3.50. So probably, depending on how far you want to go with it, how many candy canes you want to buy, M&Ms, you do want a package of M&Ms. You know, other types of candies that you want, like for the little road. Now this right here is just broken cones. Oh, and by the way, yeah, here's another $1. You get this at the dollar store, the ice cream cones. That's the trees. So you make your trees out of these cones. You just color your frosting green, put it on there, and then just dab it, and it makes little leaves and stuff. So the other decorations, of course, depends on what you want to spend above these few dollars that we've spent here. Now, I like to do mine on cardboard. When my students do it, we usually get a big paper plate and do it on that, and that's more for convenience. But this can make a cute little village if you're doing it at home. So what I'm gonna do right now, and what we're gonna be doing is, I'm gonna start certain stuff because I wanna concentrate on you knowing how to put the house together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up my frosting. Oh, and you're gonna need a knife because on some of these, the crackers they've got little lines on them. And if you just try to break it, oh, that one broke good. Sometimes they don't, all right? And maybe because I ran the knife through it. But you gotta run your knife on those lines and then they break off a lot easier. Otherwise, you get little jagged pieces and then you get frustrated. But what you do with all your little jagged pieces, you put them in a plastic bag and then you get a rolling pin and then you just mush them up and that will create a little brick road for you or whatever. So many ways that you can be creative with this. What's nice about this, okay, once we finish decorating these crackers and all, and you peel them off the house and you eat them, then you can have breakfast with the Toastums. So you're not finished with just building a house, eating it, and then throwing the inside away. You've got more inside this box. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna start this for you to see it. And I like using my little swivel table thing here, and I'm gonna be moving some stuff out of the way that I've got here. But you just get your frosting, and I've already opened this up yesterday because I was doing stuff with it. And then this spreads so nice. So you wanna make your snow. So you're gonna spread this. I have this on a piece of cardboard, by the way. This is on a piece of cardboard with foil on top of it. You can see the cardboard, all right? So this is it's just done easily. And like I said, for the students, normally we do it on a paper plate. So I'm gonna finish spreading this. We're gonna turn off the camera for just a minute, and then I'm gonna place the house.
Go.
Okay, so now you can see that I have put the frosting on it, and what I did was I just went back and forth just to create a design and stuff. And you don't want this real thick. You can see that that's pretty thin on there. You just want to cover it. Don't waste your frosting on the bottom. Just cover your foil. And realistically, if you want to use, it doesn't have to be white frosting. You can make it green and make grass right there, whatever. You know, we live in Arizona, so we do have winter grass. But generally it's with snow. And you see that I still have half my container left, and I've placed it where I think I want my house to be, because I do want to put a little walkway there. You can be as creative as you want with it, all right? So this is what I like about my little turntable. I'm not having to walk around, and I'm just placing the frosting on the box itself. And again, you don't need it real thick. And then I'm going to place this in the middle. Now the determining factor here was, do I place it in the middle or do I place it on the side and put half of one? And I decided I'm going to put them on each side and then just cover it up. So I'm going to go to the front. Again, cover this up. And it really does not take that much time. You don't even need it all the way up. You just need something to glue that piece on there at this point. So you want to put this on there nice and thin. You're going to need like about three of these. So you want to put that on there nice and thin. But yeah, try and bring it all the way to the top so it hooks up. Put that in the middle. And then see, so this little round table that I've got really helps. Otherwise, I mean, you could walk around it if you want, but I want to stay in one position for you guys to see this, to see how I do this. All right? So now these pieces, that what I did, I scored it with our little knife here. Where's my knife? Right here. What I did was I took the longer piece and I scored it. Followed that line. Be very careful with the knife, by the way. And that's it. That's called scoring it, and then it just kind of breaks off easily. So I'm going to take these now, And this time, I'm going to add just a little bit of frosting to them. Be very careful that you don't break the cookie. And then I put it at an angle. Do you see that? At a slight angle. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover those edges with the frosting. So I'm just going to, and it doesn't matter whether you do it front or back, you know, the back of the cookie or the front of the cookie, because it's the cracker, it's all going to be covered up with frosting anyways. So just going around and doing that now. And that doesn't take much. And it adheres to the frosting that's there. And move forward with that. All right. Now, the other part, so now we've taken care of our outside. Not going to worry about that right now. We're going to go ahead and frost it. And you got to hold it just a bit so you can really attach it on there. So I'm going to attach the edges and we'll be right back and I'll show you when that's done.
There you go.
Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm adding these pieces and I'm just going to take this all the way across. And then score this one in half. I know how much I need right there. Not even half, maybe about a third of it. Cuts it and it's placed. Okay. On this one, on this side, it'll probably just take half of one. Pretty much. It may be a little score on the end. And I'm just going to make sure that's secured, kind of glued on there. And again, just take the other one that I had pre-scored. Put that little piece on there. And this is where it gets intricate. This is where, oh, I want to take that off. I'm not going to put that one on there because that's just going to make me crazy. And I'm crazy enough as it is. You students already know that. Okay, there. That's a little better. We're going to cover some of that up with frosting. So where we have it is right here. That's holding that on. And I'm just taking it like in a circle pretty much. See it? So we're creating that same kind of foundation. I'll score this one here. Right there on that second knot. There you go. A little bit of frosting on it. So I went around with it all the way around, making sure that that's secured on there. And then the last one, let's see. What do you know, it broke just perfect. I didn't think it would because sometimes they just kind of shatter a bit. There we go, and then one tiny piece there. Can we use this one? I think we can. Just use this one. How about this one? Nope. You know what, I'm gonna cut this one in half because I think I'd like it. And these are the intricacies of it. You know, it's the same thing when we do hair and so on. It's the little intricacies. What do we need to do to make it exactly right? So gently on the bottom next to the box, make sure that that is secure. Here is, oh, by the way, I did use up that other one and I started a new one. So I wanted to show you that there's two that have been used up. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make our little rooftop. Again, we're going to score this in half. Just look for the line right there. I'm going to score this in half. And I want to make sure, oops, see this is where you might have a little bit of a problem. So score it in half and I want to make sure, okay, so the only place that I'm going to put frosting on is And I want to put a decent amount because I want it to attach to the other side, and you want to put a decent amount on the top right here for it to kind of glue it together. So I'm going to put that down for a minute. And like I said, it doesn't matter which one you put on top, which one you put on the bottom. What you want is you want it to kind of stick with the frosting. So, got this. Secure that. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to put it like that so it sticks on the bottom there. Secure that, and now I've got my little roof. Now I'm going to move it over somewhat. See, I've got that right there. Secure the top. Push that in. Push that in. Secure it with it. This is where you have to have a very gentle touch so it doesn't separate. So you're beginning to see that roof come in. Now, how do I take care of this? 2 of these. Right there. Okay, I'm going to need to score it just a bit. Make it a little thinner. And this is where you kind of start making a bit of a mess, as you can see. A little more. So this right here takes a little bit of time to make it fit, but the knife will definitely score it. So measure it first, just a scotch more, just a little bit more to make it fit. Now I'm going to take my other one and mark it. So, oops, see, it broke. Okay, so I just get another one. Got a little too rough with it. Score it right here. See if that's enough. Pretty close. All right, so there you go. And we just do what? Just put the frosting on one side and then the other, and that's it. Just like we did the oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, that's going to do that, so be very careful with it. Did it again. This is just taking up time. I'm getting too rough with it. I think I'm getting just a little 2 inches. There you go. There. All right, so I've got this piece, the other piece. I'm going to take it, puts a little bit on each side. A little bit on each side, and I'm just kind of dunking them in. You can see that. And bring it together. And there's the rest of your roof. Is it a little bit off? Yes, it is, but you're not going to worry too much about it. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to attach. Oh, we do need to put a little thing right here. Right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your cracker again. You're going to score it. And this time, oops, this time you're going to make a triangle. So you're going to go corner to corner. So just score it. You want a pretty sharp little knife to do this with. And then this comes right there. And if you want it to fit perfectly, like you're saying, you know what, I want that to fit a little better, then just kind of score it again. See that? And bring it in a little more. And you can just work it in. So you can work it in so your little triangle and just fits. So then you're going to take it. There you go. So now we're coming up with our roof. Now, I want you to see something. I'm messing around. See how that fell? Okay, just bring it back up. And once you press this in very gently, it will hold this up. So now we're going to do the other side. I think I'm just going to take it off here and do the other side. There you go. To cover that up. And again, all of it supports itself. And that is going to help hold that on. So now what I'm going to do, and again, very gently, you have to do it very gently because this is only held on by frosting. All right, so let's take this and bring it just straight down to blend. And it's all held in. Now if it falls in, just do it again. You don't have to, I mean, I've had that happen where you're just being so careful and then something falls in. Well, then just pick it up and then eat the frosting off your fingers when you do. So the main thing is a very gentle press into it. But we're just gluing our little home together right here, as you can see. Now I'm going to take this right here and I'm going to fill that with frosting. Okay, that's got, see how that tried to come apart right there. There you go now. Very gently pat it right there. And again. And then bring this up into it, or just attach it. Basically, that's all you're doing with the frosting is attaching those graham crackers together around your little box that you're going to open up and eat later. So if I was standing up, I would just be going around it, you know. All right, so I've got this frosting here. You saw how I built that up? Okay, so now this frosting, I just kind of bring it up a bit. And see, the frosting itself creates that foundation for me. Right on the edge right there. People wouldn't know that there is like a gap right there. So you can see that. You can see that edging coming out. So I'm taking care of the edges first. And there's plenty of frosting. Let me move this over so I can turn my little box. All right, so again, you're going to get frosting on your fingers, but very, very gently. And if you're going to do this with your siblings, just ask them to be very careful how they do it. They may get a little frustrated, you know, because it's a very gentle stroking into it. There, so I've pretty much got that top done. Now let's get this one here done. I want to attach it first and just real gentle strokes into it. And see, I'm almost finished with this as far as putting the house together. And then if there's anything you need to touch up afterwards, you can. There you go. And then what you do afterwards, if you want, now I have to be very careful with this because this I can see it saying, I want to lean over. No, you don't. You want to go straight up. And it's okay if you talk to your little gingerbread house that you're making. It totally understands. It has a very compassionate heart. Remember, it's graham crackers. Everybody likes graham crackers. So we've put that together right there. And now what you're going to do is, I've got one little spot right here. Get a decent amount of frosting here because it's telling me that I need just a little more. So it wouldn't be, I guess the only way that I can describe that you would do this, it's like you're stroking a paintbrush. Gently stroking a paintbrush. If you're an artist, those of you that do art, that paint on a canvas, you know what that's like as far as that gentle stroking. Okay, so then you would take everything and just very gently bring it up. Very gently. Now I've got a little spot right here. So you can see that my house itself is covered. And what I'm doing by bringing it up is creating that nice smooth texture, nice smooth design, so that we get a really nice blend into this. And if there's little spots that you see that need to be covered, just add some frosting to it and gently, again, I can't stress the word gently enough, bring it up. This is going to be your front porch. So you want this to look good. And remember, we're going to cover a lot of this with candy, with just bunches of different stuff. And I'm going to show you that right now, how to do that. So again, bringing it straight up, it looks almost like a church house right now. And this one is just a little bit different than this one over here. This one I used this side of the box, turned it over, used this side of the box. The other one, I used this part of the box. Okay, so I thought, so this makes it look a little bit more like a church steeple. The one over here, there's stuff all over the place. I laid the box down. And you can see that the roof is just a little bit more further in, but still, you could fill it in with more frosting if you wanted to and bring that roof up a little bit. So there's a variety of ways that you can do this. And I've got and this is where a knife would probably work better than my spatula here to take care of those little edges on the bottom. Okay, so we've got our home built. Now what I'm gonna do with this frosting here, I'm gonna color it green. So I have this left over and I'm gonna put some green food color in it. So we're gonna be right back and then I'm gonna show you how to make your Christmas trees, but we are gonna decorate our home first, then we're gonna do the trees. All right, so we'll be right back again.
Go.
So what you want to do before your frosting dries too much on your house, and it will, you want to go ahead and place and you can be as creative as you want. I mean, do you want candy canes on there? Do you want something coming up? The main thing is, again, be careful with it. And what I'm doing is I'm just alternating. And see, the frosting itself will hold them on. So you don't have to worry about putting any frosting on there. So now we've got our little levers there. And then another thing you can do, which is what I've done in the past, is you can take your candy canes and just kind of measure it there and break it. And then you just kind of, let me see, do I want it there? Yeah, okay, right there. See, I could put that on the edge of the house. Oh, this one's already kind of broken. And they do break sometimes. And there you go. So we've created that little look right there. Another thing you could do for a doorway, what I usually do is I'll use M&Ms, but you can use licorice sticks. You can take another candy cane if you want and break it. And I usually leave the paper on the candy canes. You don't have to, but because of COVID right now, we are. So there's going to be the front door. And I usually have a pair of scissors right here next to me. And, okay, let's give that front door just a little bit of an arch. How about that? And then you use an M&M. Where's my M&Ms? I know my M&Ms. Do you see my M&Ms, camera? Oh, here they are.
Right
Here's my M&Ms. Okay, so, and then you can also use, well, you can use, I'm going to use a brown M&M as the doorknob. So do you see our little house coming together now? It's starting to take shape. You can put little candy canes on the bottom for a foundation if you want, or you can just go through and put M&Ms as a foundation. Now I'm going to do this now, but I'm not going to finish it right now because you already know that I'm going to put it all the way around. Now, I want a little walkway here. So I've got my little brown M&Ms, another little brown, oh, by the way, yes, I put and I just got my food coloring, this particular one at the dollar store again. I do cake decorating, so I get a lot of my, and many times I'll pipe that in. They call it piping when you're doing a cake decorating. But, you know, to teach my students, you guys don't have this at home, so I teach you a way to do it at home. So, you don't have the cake decorating stuff at home. So I'm just mixing that up in the can itself. All right, I'm going to wipe it down. And then what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna do the walkway in just a minute, but I wanna show you how to do a tree. Now, sometimes on your cones, you're gonna have them broken like this. And if you're very careful and very gently pull it back, you have a little bit better foundation. All right, now what I do is then I take my frosting, I'm reaching over, put my fingers in there, and just frost that cone. Let me bring it over here. And I'm going to frost that cone. Bring it up. Oh, I got a little bit of a... Oh, another piece broke off. See, that will happen sometimes. And what I'm going to do is just stick it back on. It's probably not going to hold very good right there, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to show you how to fix that. Because what ends up happening, Christmas trees don't only have lights, a lot of times they have gifts around them, don't they? So once you have frosted it, then you tap it. Now it's starting to look like a tree. So the way that I'm going to fix that little piece that broke on me, oh, it's trying to come apart, I have to be careful, I could feel it, is just do that. All right, now see where that came apart right there? I'm just going to put my little tree here, and then I'm going to put a little Christmas present under it. And sometimes you can get other types of candies to do this with, to put a little Christmas gift under it. Sometimes you can get them pre-wrapped like this, all right? So they're just kind of wrapped little Christmas gifts that you put on there. And then you get your M&Ms. And you want to save the yellow ones for the light on top. Put just a little bit more on top, because what does a light usually look like? It looks a little bit yellow. And if you have a star candy to put up there, put a star candy up there. But you see where now we're putting our lights up on our tree. And it's starting to look, and again, gently place because of our little broken piece there. Gently place that. So that teaches you, and like I said, when this is finished, you'll get to see the finished product. I'm going to have candy around there. Now, how do you make, and I'm going to make another Christmas tree. I showed you how to do that. Like I said, you'll see the finished product. And this is all up to you on how much you want to put into your gingerbread house. So I'm going to take these little brown ones here that I've got. These are like little beans that I've got. That's a little M&M. I don't want that right now. And I did buy another, so I'm going to start this to show you. And you want to do this while the frosting is still a little bit wet, because what happens when the frosting dries, things don't stick to it very well. So I'm going to start this, and then I'm going to finish it. And then you'll see how much more you can put into your own little gingerbread house. And it's not that difficult. And this is your own creativity. It's really nice to buy those, and I'm not condemning them. But my goodness, when, you know, right now with COVID and everything that's going on, and we're on a budget. Okay, this was the same price. It was $1.50. And it's 15 ounces. It's 1 ounce less, I believe, than the other one. So what I'm going to do with the little sprinkles, and you can just use whatever. You can use, if you want, you can, like I did with the crumbs on the other, I'm going to put sparkles right here. Just a little sparkle sidewalk with stars and whatever. Now this sidewalk is going to go a little bit further, but I wanted to show you what it'll look like. So you've got a pretty good idea. The biggest problem you're going to have is with your putting your house together. Just make sure that your strokes are gentle. Don't press too hard. Attach your graham crackers. You've got to attach them for it to work. So what I'm going to do right now, we're going to cut off. I'm going to go ahead and finish this. I've shown you how to do the trees. I'm going to have a couple more trees in here. Now another thing you can do, as you can see, on this one I have a snowman up there. On this one I have a little gingerbread man up here. We've got, I've got Santa Clauses that you can purchase. And sometimes what you can do with these smaller ones, which is many times what I've done, the biggest thing with the smaller ones, you do have to take them out. Okay, here's my little, and see here's other ones that you can put up there if you want. Like little sucker type things that you can put up there. But what I do sometimes with the smaller ones is I'll take them up to the top and place them like this and place one on each side. You see what I'm saying? And again, it helps with that roof part of it. And just take it and crawl it up. So there's so many little things that you can choose to be creative with. Again, the trees, that's all I did was I just got,
Oh,
I'm sorry. I got, where are my cones? And the cones are at the dollar store too, and you get a dozen. You get a dozen cones, for goodness sake. Oh, here they are. I've got stuff all over the place, so I wanted to finish this for you students. So you can see when you take the cones out, you've only got a little bit of a ledge right there. And so I'm going to put one here. I might put a couple of them right here. You can get a little, maybe a baby, those little plastic animals, a little deer coming up or something. You can't eat it because they're plastic. But it's a nice decorative thing. You can go along the edge if you want and make neighbors. It's endless what you can do with this. But the biggest part is, for what you pay for just the house alone, you can do this. And then you have, again, when you're done eating this thing, you then have the box that you can put your toaster pop-ups in. So a nice memory either way. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this. We're going to shut off, and then I'll come back to it. All right? Thank you, students. Now, I hope you learned something from this. You get to see the finished product. I'll set up a little village and stuff so you'll see what I'm talking about. All right? See you in a little bit.